Hello and welcome everyone to this awesome DeckTech that I don't even own, so I'll rent it out at some point, and then I'll play it for like a couple leagues, and then I will test if it's actually good. I'll get up a quick visual view now. Okay, super smooth transition completed. Anyway, basically, this deck is called Soldier Stompy, White Weenie, or White Stompy, I don't know. Anyway, point is that this deck is pretty cool. Now, why is this deck pretty cool? Well, you see. This deck is white. Yeah. Anyway, point is this deck is hopefully a really like a lot better deck than the original Soldier Stompy list. That list ran a bunch of bad cards that I think just could have been improved, and hopefully this is a much better list that really tries and taps into what the original list did, but does it better. That's all about, yeah. Anyway, what this deck aims to do is it aims to have a turn 1 threat to force your opponent to answer it. Now, why is this good? Because we live in a very tempo game, right? If you've seen the metagame stats, tempo's at the highest. I don't know if this is not always, because I haven't been following Legacy forever, and I've been following it ever basically since Companion got banned. But I have been following it pretty regularly since. Anyway, tempo is pretty high, so we want to out-tempo them by playing non-tempo things. So, ideal, turn 1, Ancient Tomb into turn 1 Chalice, then turn 2 Trinisphere. We want to have those games where you have two threats in hand. You have acceleration, and then you have something that just gets you off the ground, and then you continue just gaining value. Because a lot of Chalice decks, what they end up doing is they play threats. Your opponent eventually deals with threats, and then they still win. Because they lack this. And this, also just being like a super jank thing, is also quite nice. It's kind of flavorful. Anyway, this deck aims to lock your opponent out and then just go over the top with creatures. Quite a traditional deck. So, what's new and what's stayed? Well, Khan's new. I put in 4 Khans because Khan is a luck piece. Any like, let's say Urza Echoes deck or any Arcbound Ravage deck or Affinity that don't exist anymore, pretty much, or any deck that's trying to run pod don't really exist anymore. But if the metagame ever changes, then it will be super good. Anyway, it's still really good because it allows us to get a tutor package, and with this we have creature removal, we have win the game, we have win the game if we have Rest in Peace, we have just lock piece, hates on big creatures, hates on lands, hates on graveyard, hates on creatures, hates on storm. We just have the whole kit and caboose. We've got a lot of things we can get in that we wouldn't be able to normally. Just tap into our sideboard like any Khan deck. And since we're playing fast mana, just this actually, we get to Khan much quicker than most decks. We play Chalice, play Trinisphere. Now, there is a ruling that you just got to realize that even though Trinisphere makes the spells cost 3, the CMC is still 1, so the Chalice still counts it. But yeah, especially Trinisphere is really good, just because a lot of people are playing just 1 mana spells. They're not going higher than 3, with Snowco and Rug Delver, even D&T, Elves. Not that those... D&T is still Still definitely in the meta game. What else does this hit? Plenty of other things that I can't think of right now. Just hits pretty much any deck that has lower. Thalia, it's a must-answer threat, especially if they can answer it. They're going to answer it first. And if you have another lock piece, they're just wasted so much of their time dealing with your threats that you're eventually just you're gonna play a Power Stealer. Now, what's a Power Stealer going to do? Oh, it's going to draw you cards. It's not much, right? But it's going to draw you into a Enlistment Officer. Now, the Enlistment Officer is going to hit a couple of cards. Oh, now you have a Wreck. You play Wreck. And now you swing in for 10 lifelink. And suddenly, even though your threats got countered, they wasted so much of their time dealing with you that you could just get ahead. So what other lock pieces do we play? We play Rest in Peace. Now, Rest in Peace is great because Arcanist, also Thalia, makes Arcanist actually have to pay for the things. So that's more tempo lost. Arcanist, any sort of graveyard decks suddenly don't have like an 80% win rate game 1. If you have Rest in Peace in the main board. It also allows you to get the Karn and Helm Obedience combo. So you can just combo. This is a combo deck. And then we also run Thalia. Now Thalia sucks on fetch lands. What plays lots of fetch lands? Lots and lots and lots of decks, especially Snoko. Snoko's big in the metagame. Gotta hate on it. Currently Delver is going for a 3-color variant. There's a little bit of a 2-color variant, but 3-color is still the big one. Also, just any deck that's trying to be greedy. It also hates on like elves even, because there's a wait a turn to do things. If they want to attack, they can't attack on the same turn. They want to. Anyway, it makes it way more complex for them, and they have to find removal for it. Now, what do we run in our creature package? We run Preeminent Captain, the only non-human creature. That's just to synergize with Rick, because Rick doesn't care about soldiers. It is a soldier, but it cares about humans. Yeah, we also run Rick. Rick is basically God. And if you don't know what Preeminent Captain does, you get to put soldiers onto the battlefield attacking when it attacks. And Rick, you always want to go with Vigilance and Lifelink, just because a couple of the soldiers do have. I think it's just both Thalia's. Oh, and the Preeminent Captain. Yeah. And the Enlistment Officer. Yeah, quite a few of them have first strike, so it's kind of pointless. Vigilance and Lifelink, and you get to attack. You get to leave up blockers, and they all get +2/+2. You really want to cast it when this is active. Just to turn off lightning bolts. Oh, not that being said, your Rick can't be lightning bolt. It also can't be abrupt decayed. The only big removal spell that I can see that people could play against Rick, on average, is probably like Assassin's Trophy. So it's pretty strong actually. It's really strong. Once it gets down, probably staying there. And even if they do have, they genuinely need to play like 2 like Plague Engineer, etc. People normally play 1. They'll be like, oh, it's fine. The only thing it just outright kills is this, and that doesn't matter. Oh, also kills Mini Thalia, which is sad. But it does outright kill this, but that doesn't matter because we're just tutoring. We don't really care about the body in the end. Yeah, we also have this, and this runs as a tutor package. With a tutor package, we can get this Thalia, big Thalia. We can get small Thalia. We can get Palace Jailer. And I think that's about it. It's quite a small tutor package, but it allows us to get. Oh, and it also gets Self Square. It allows us to get Creature Hate, Big Creature Hate, and or like many creatures. Basically, this was a really interesting threat. I'll talk about it later. And just allows us to get lock pieces, because those are lock pieces. Palace Jailer basically gives us the Monarch, and then it exiles creature until they gain the Monarch. And in a deck that's looking to get your opponent to always be on the back foot answering things, you can probably keep the Monarch, especially since you're playing a lot of creature-based threats. We also play Selfless Squire. This is great against Marit Large, Elves, or anything that just wants to attack in for a lot of damage. Even good against Burn, because it'll just turn off at least one lightning bolt or something, and it'll force them to wait a turn. Then they'll have then you'll have a 4/4, and it'll stop the creature base. And then we have Enlistment Officer for the white card rule that white so desperately lacks. Yeah, we also run Council's Judgment as a great way to deal with any permanents, especially since it exiles it. This hates specifically on Uro, Oko, and nothing else that would really cause us trouble. But especially in the Oko. Oko sucks for this deck because we are just playing creatures and artifacts, except Karn. What did I do there? Anyway. Yeah. Oko's bad for this deck. Uro, sucks in general because it means they go on for longer, than they end up getting card draw, then they can probably go over the top of us. So it's we probably want to answer that threat. Now for the sideboard, we have the Karn package. We have this to deal with, this as you'll notice. So it's 3, so it can deal with Oko, it can deal with Arcanist. It can deal with pretty much any creature in the current metagame since everything's 3 or less. A lot of the metagame is being defined by Delver right now. This can deal with any sort of you pretty much, you always want to, it's a really good card because a lot of decks want to chain or do lots of card stuff. Classically, it's great in Storm, but honestly, this can be brung in with a lot of things. Tormods, Graveyard, don't need much to say. Graveyard, Grafdiggers. This blows up lands with Karn, combos, creature removal. That's pretty much it. Aven is good against Delver or Burn matchups. I like it quite a lot because it can kill the Delver and it gets full life, and it always gets stuff on ETBs even if they want to kill it, etc, etc, and it's a blocker. Yeah. 3 mana, gain full life, it blocks, or it can attack. Good. This is, you want more of this if they're doing some sort of Marit Large or etc strategy, or they can counter your threat. Yeah. And Council's Judgment is if they're playing more permanent based stuff, and you want to hate on that.